Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Okay, here we go.
Where the plays get broken down and science gets denied.
Yeah, they said I gotta come off the bench.
Hour 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Raising Cane studio.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2, OTB here live from the Raising Cane studio. Jake, Flynn, Moose, Tay here with you. And, of course, our guy, Dr. Stephen Etheridge, back from his vacation. Doc, we missed you, brother. Hopefully you had a great vacation.
Great time. Good to get away every now and then, but happy to be back as well.
Now, let me ask you this. So you go to the beach. Are you a beach sitter, like a beach relaxer? Or
He's from the beach, too, though.
Yeah,
so
do you have to be
remember
moving?
that.
Because when I go to the beach, it's like
I love the beach.
Like relaxing isn't that relaxing to me? Like I got to be kind of doing something.
I'm more in that camp, and sometimes that's difficult because my wife is more in the, hey, I just want to go set up camp and chill and sit in the lounge chair and gets frustrated that I can't do that. You know, after 5 minutes, I want to go, jump in the water, get a boogie board, throw a line in the water, do something. But I have a hard time standing still as well. So enjoy the beach. It's a different experience.
Wait, you have a hard time sitting still, Flynn?
I know it's the weirdest thing. Like someone in the chat earlier said, Flynn seems like a lazy river guy. Like I can go a few laps, but I ain't gonna be there for an hour.
Man, I can do a little bit of both. Like if the kiddos want to throw the football, let's go. If they want to do something in the water, let's go. But man, I can sit there with a nice cold Dos Equis in hand, some good tunes on the speaker.
It does help. I will say, good tunes and a cold beverage makes a difference. I will say that also does. That gives me something to do, so I'm doing something there.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm in motion.
Just going from here.
Yeah. Small motions, that's okay.
Doc, have you ever been in a situation, before we were talking vacation? So you've seen it in every movie. Have you ever been in a situation in a restaurant, an airplane, a bus, anywhere where something happens and some lady is trying to help somebody and screams, "We need a doctor. Is there a doctor in here?"
Fortunately, not a lot, but I've had a few. One was at an airport, and actually there was a loudspeaker, and
really.
And I'm like, man, on the one hand, I don't want to be that guy that comes running, kind of looking like a fool. But you obviously, if somebody needs help, you want to help them. And it was a big airport. I think it was in Dallas, but it was like I looked at the gate I was at, and they were like a gate away. I was like, okay, I got to respond to that. So I kind of hustled over. It was a guy that actually seemed to have had a stroke, and so it happens, and it's kind of a catch-22 because again, you don't want to be overly eager for something that doesn't need your assistance, but if you're able to assist, I try to.
Right.
Nothing too crazy. No fantastic stories, but
that's pretty. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty. I feel like that's pretty fantastic. You don't want to be like the superhero running in, pulling out the stethoscope out of your back pocket.
Well,
I'm a doctor.
I don't like the big time people, because usually you get the scene and somebody's there and they seem to know what they're doing. I don't want to be like, hey, I'm a doctor. I never want to be that guy. But on the other hand, if somebody needs help, or I've had a few times where maybe the person that was doing something, even like some little league games. When I was coaching my son's team, walked out once, a kid had gotten hurt, and I didn't want to. The other coach didn't know who I was. It was one of their kids, and I'm like, I kind of said, hey, let me kind of step in here because they were not really handling it in a way that was appropriate. Yeah, but I did it. I tried to not,
I know.
big time people, but
they're not talking to you, Professor.
I would do it all the time. I'm a doctor.
Yeah, I am a doctor.
I went to school for a long ass time to do
doctorate.
this. Okay, so speaking of that, I was thinking about you the other day because we're watching the World Cup, and look, I know that all the Tommy Tough guys are like, there's too many injuries in soccer, faking injuries, and blah blah blah, and I know it's a part of the game, but for you, like as part of the medical staff, like how do you think you would handle that? Like not really knowing, like, okay, what do we got going on here? Like, buddy, are you hurt? They got the magic spray out there, and they're trying to go, hey, you stop. This isn't your question because you're going to hate on it.
I would love to get some of the magic spray. I've not figured out how that works yet. Yeah, I'm not
like
sure what they're in there.
I feel like the spicy hot. Like
I'm assuming it's just like some ethyl chloride or something. Cooling spray or something. But
are soccer doctors just way better than football doctors?
They get them healed. They seem to fix catastrophic injuries very quickly on the field, which I've
the touch of
not been able to do. But look, we've talked about it before with the guys that when they just need a breather when the other team's going too fast in football. It's kind of the same thing. I think you have to know what you're going to do in advance. You have to try to do your best to not, be laughing out there and showing it on your face. Because I've had a few of those where I really had to hold it in. But I mean, we see it a little bit. Soccer, it is more dramatic. That's one of the things I think that does turn some people off on it. But on the other hand, soccer injuries are real. Soccer is a contact, violent sport.
The concussion numbers are actually crazy on soccer.
It's very high. Yeah. It's very high. And that's something, it's funny how I remember the movie Concussion came out, the Will Smith movie. It was based on the true story and the number of people it seemed that pulled their kids those first couple years out of football, and a lot of those shifted to soccer because of the concussion concerns. And I'm like, listen, y'all, you probably move them to golf or something if that's why you're doing it. Because soccer's very. I mean, again, you get a lot of head contact, and
women's soccer is like the highest number.
It is
like all the sports.
And NCAA, and year by year in NCAA, it will fluctuate a little bit, but the top three are always ice hockey, women's soccer, and football. And in many of the recent years, it's been women's soccer.
Ice hockey, those helmets are like flimsy.
Yeah,
they're so thin.
They're so aggressive. I love it.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
We did have one of the U.S. stars, Christian Pulisic, went out with injury, and his was an ankle deal. So he went to go shoot a shot at the ball. The defender puts his leg in front of the ball, so he kind of kicks the other guys, and it was like right there at the top of the foot, and he just, unfortunately for him, he had a really bad tournament, but then he looked like he tried to go a little bit and just couldn't go. And in soccer, I have to imagine you're right-footed. Like if it was us, like you would tape the ankle up and be like, hey, get out there and go. But I have to imagine if you have any kind of an ankle sprain in soccer on your main leg that you're kicking with, primary leg, can't really tape it up.
Yeah, and again, that's where the difference in sports is so important. It's, again, to your point, if a football player, the number of times we've just spatted that thing up and you can't even move that foot, but, you're going to be a little bit limited. You're probably not going to be quite as quick. You're going to have a hard time pushing off, but you can still do it, whatever it is, most of the times. In soccer, yeah, you're right. It just, the kicking aspect changes everything. Yeah. And then the side-to-side, the lateral movements, which are going to be comparable in football, but it's tough. And in that scenario, I think it is going to be a little bit more of a limiting injury for sure.
Doc, I've heard the argument before, and kind of people debating back and forth about knee injuries, ACL injuries, of course, very prolific in football. And the argument has always been made between football and soccer, like why there's not as many ACL tears in soccer. Like, of course, in football it's contact, so you do see that, but I would say most of the injuries that we see is non-contact injuries to the knee. And people are like, well, why are these athletes of football tearing their knee up more than soccer? Like, soccer is just as, if it's a non-contact injury, it's a non-contact injury. And the argument, and people have talked about and debated about ankle taping. Ankle taping in football is everywhere, right? Ankle taping, ankle braces. In soccer, it's not. And I guess the mindset and the argument, the debate's all about, well, if you train with it, you're strengthening the ankle muscles, which, it's the old song, the tailbone's connected to the leg bone's connected to the foot bone, all that stuff. Like, everything gets strengthened around it, which supports the knee when it goes the wrong way. Like, if your knee buckles out, well, you got the ankle muscles, the calf muscles that have been trained without the tape to kind of protect it. And does ankle taping or knee bracing over a long period of time weaken the muscles and ligaments?
That's one concern with bracing. I even when I see patients with an injury in my clinic, I don't like to brace them too aggressively unless it's necessary. You don't like to immobilize when you don't have to. And again, it's always a fine line because, obviously if you have an injury or if you're trying to prevent an injury, sometimes there's things you can do. I think a lot of it does come down to the footwear, whether you're talking about the cleat itself, but also the ankle taping and bracing and all of that. Anything that it's just like in a back, if you do a fusion on the vertebrae, we know that the vertebrae above and below are going to be under more stress, and you're going to see more problems in those areas. So sometimes it's something you still have to do, but doing that in a few years, those people are likely to have a problem above or below that fusion. Well, it's kind of the same idea. If you immobilize one joint, you got to kind of go to the next one in the chain, and you're going to see a few more issues. So I think that is a part of it. I think the cleats, typically the soccer cleats are a little bit shallower, so you're not going to have the foot stick in the ground as much. That's one of the things that's often been talked about as well. And then just the nature of the types of motions. With soccer, it's a little bit, typically a little more of a graceful kind of side to side. You're not planting and pushing quite as hard as consistently. I think probably all those apply.
Yeah.
I think you got to consider all that when you're looking at it.
Is football the only sport that ankle taping is commonplace for every single day? Practice, games, everything.
You probably so. I can't think of another one. We mentioned hockey. Honestly, I've never taken care of a hockey team, so maybe. I don't know what they do. But they're in skates, I guess. So, I mean, you would think
basketball's got to be more aggressive on the knee joint. They don't tape, and you don't see ACLs in basketball.
They don't tape? I
Yeah.
have no idea. Does basketball tape
But
ankles?
some of them do, but not as consistently,
Like
not
football, you
as
don't have a choice.
prophylactically. Yeah.
Like football, you got fined if you didn't have your ankles taped.
Yeah.
At least we did. I mean, I don't know if is it still that way?
It's
You have to have something on the ankle.
It's depending on the team you're with. I will say
Okay.
some trainers, some teams have started to move away a little bit from the prophylactic bracing, whether it's taping, whether it's ankle braces, whether it's knee braces. Because some of the data does suggest that maybe we shouldn't do quite as much of it. But a lot of people still go back to the kind of old school mentality. We're going to tape everything. We're going to brace everything. If you're an O lineman, you're wearing the big knee brace. But if you look at some of the data, it's not always supportive of those activities. So you're seeing some teams doing
linemen.
less of
I
it.
get because it's so much contact, right?
A lot of contact,
But
a lot of rolling up on your ankles and
man,
legs.
DBs, receivers, running backs. I would never have them.
Yeah, I never liked having tape, and I mean personally, when
my high school coach used to make me wear a knee brace in practice, and it was like it was like the sleeve knee brace with the metal thing that went inside the sleeve, and I would take it off for game day because I didn't want to wear it in the game, and I felt like my knee was so weak, like doing without.
And there's something to that probably, and whether it's a psychological thing, there's also some reality to it. Again, because if you don't use things the normal way, or if you take some of that stability out naturally, it is. I think that there's something for that. Like I said, I try not to over brace in my clinic with anybody, even my patients who are older that, you think, oh, this little, old lady who broke her ankle, you want to keep her in a boot as long as possible. And you need to let the injury heal. Mm-hmm. But I also want to get them moving as quickly as possible because it's so hard to get those things strong if you immobilize them too long.
Let's commission the study. Let's do it right here.
Okay, sure. You fronting the bill?
Oh, no, we can do it for free.
Okay. One of the things that I do want to go back to is like the size of your cleats and the length of your cleat. Some people might roll their eyes at that. They might think, like, that doesn't matter. It absolutely does. I always give the example. So we didn't have rain ever in San Diego. We just didn't have it. And we were about to play on either Sunday or Monday night, and it started to rain. And they panicked a little bit because the field wasn't ready to handle rain, right? And so there's a little bit of water on the field. And they made all of us like immediately like change your cleats, put the long screw-in cleats
I remember
in,
those.
right?
The 1 inches.
And so we did all that, and it wasn't needed. And I remember, so we're warming up after that, and I go and my cleats get kind of stuck in the ground, and my foot gets stuck, and I can hear my plantar pop. So plantar fascia, like it just go like a loud, like I was like, what in the hell just happened there? So go to the sideline, take my cleat off, my bottom of my foot's black and blue. Like it was just, I was like, this looks like, is it Mr. Deeds?
Oh yeah,
Right, when he takes his, that's what it looked like.
The
and I'm
butler.
like, and it was because I didn't need those long cleats, and they put them on, and I got stuck in the ground, and my body was going, my foot was stuck behind, and you could like, I don't know if you could hear it, but in my mind, you could hear it pop.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. And look on both sides of it. I mean, because you'll see if you don't have the right cleat or a long enough cleat or the wrong shoe, you're going to be slipping. I mean, we've all gone out and tried to run a pass route at your kids' practice and the grass is a little wet and you're in your tennis shoes and you eat it. At least I know I have. And
I have.
So I mean, obviously there's give and take there, but I think it's not as simple as one thing. It's probably all the above. And then you just got to look at the athletes too. You look at we've talked some about the physics of the force that's applied, and you have a bigger, heavier individual with that much mass and that much motion. You're going to also have some higher instance of injury. So there's a lot of variables that go into it.
Doc, I just want to say first, you're welcome for having the Tour de France on in front of you.
Yeah,
you're
I've been
getting
watching
to
this.
watch this live.
I mean, some
right
lovely
now.
landscapes. I'll
It's
say that.
beautiful. Yeah. It's a fantastic coverage. They got a helicopter flying around filming. They got guys with great accents talking to you. Do you have any? So every time there's all sorts of bike crashes in this thing, like big ones. Every time like one of these guys falls off a bike, they pretty much break their collarbone. Do you see in the clinic? Do you see a lot of cyclists come through there?
We do, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Probably the most common one I see is broken collarbones. You see those a lot when they
Is it because people are like, is you break your collarbone when you fall, like putting your elbow down, like trying to brace yourself?
Usually bracing,
you fall on the
yeah.
shoulder?
Anything where you fall right on the shoulder. If you come down on an extended, extremity, that something really impacts in from the shoulder in, you're going to see that a lot, or from the ground up, you'll see it a lot of times as well. And a lot of these bike injuries, they happen so fast, they're not able to land and roll appropriately. They got the bike strapped to them, so they're coming right down on the side of their shoulder and things like that, or going over the handlebars. But I see a lot of collarbone injuries, and whether it's people who are novice cyclists all the way up to the people who are doing this professionally, you see a lot of those. And I've seen a lot of people where they went out like mountain biking, and they come in and see us and all banged up.
So do you have any recommendations? Like you could break your collarbone walking down the road, right? Like, so they're landing. Okay, I want to know how to fall without breaking a collarbone. Like, am I landing? Is it side of the shoulder, like the delt straight down? Do I need to try to roll over to the scap? Like, how do I need to fall on the ground?
Well, I think you want to go with the fall, but like I said, sometimes when you're kind of strapped in the bike, I think that's part of the problem too. You can't do it. So, because typically the best way to fall, it's funny. I was learning to snowboard, and because I'd played football, the guy was like, "Man, you're really good at falling." I was like, so I was like, "Well, I'm a great faller." But yeah, because you got to kind of roll with it. You got to kind of know how to fall, and sometimes you just can't though. Or the reflexes kick in. Sometimes the worst thing to do is stick that arm out and fall in that outstretched hand, because you're going to break a wrist, you're going to break an elbow, you're going to have something. But on the other hand, you don't want to hit your face on the pavement too. So again, sometimes it's
true.
You got to kind of weigh those options. You don't usually have time to think about it
at the time. Yeah. Life doesn't slow down for that.
No,
right?
It doesn't.
So would you rather fall on your face or break a collarbone?
The face plays, so I guess the collarbone.
So all right, so sex sells. You can't hurt the money maker.
Exactly.
Here.
Right.
So your collarbone. So we the screws. Is it plates? Is it natural healing over time?
Most of them are natural healing. Even the one thing I tell patients, collarbones, it's the most forgiving bone in the body.
Right.
You'll look at a collarbone fracture sometimes, and it'll look gnarly. It'll be in a couple pieces. It'll be overlapping. You're like, oh, you're gonna fix that, right? And a lot of times, we're like, nah, we're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna let it heal. You might have a little bump there, but functionally, you're gonna be well. You're gonna do fine long term. You're gonna heal just fine with a pretty bad break. Sometimes, yes, you will need to go in, and usually it's going to be a plate with some screws to kind of stabilize it and hold it in place.
Yeah.
But I will say the vast majority of collarbones, even the ones that look bad, we're probably going to leave them alone. There's some that definitely get fixed, but
and collarbone's kind of like a floating bone too, a little bit, right? I had a massage therapist one time because as a thrower, I had a lot of situations with the right shoulder. She actually got under my collarbone and lifted it up, and it stretched the ligaments and the tendons connected that connect it there, but it's
it's in a high stress spot, but it's also kind of by itself in a way. I mean, it's attached on both ends, but there's not much in between other than muscular attachment. So
it was a wild feeling.
And those issues. I mean, whether it's the collarbone, the AC joint, which is the one that's at the shoulder, or the sternoclavicular, the SC joint at the chest area, both those are painful injuries. When people have them, so. We see a lot of those. A lot of, you mentioned the cycling injuries. Sometimes they don't break the collarbone, but they will sprain those joints as well. It's kind of a similar mechanism. See that in a lot of sports. Football, very common to see the AC injuries. So,
why do I have a bump here for my AC sprain? I still have a bump here. It's a gift from the football gods, is what I like to say. It's just a bump. It's going to be there forever.
It's going to be there forever, yeah.
What
at
is
this
that?
point.
Is it scar tissue?
Well, you probably have a little bit of scarring, and more likely than not, you probably had what we would say was at least a grade 2 AC sprain, which is where the collarbone comes into the acromion. They're supposed to be lined up perfectly, but if sometimes the clavicle or the collarbone raises up a little bit because some of those ligaments that hold it in place get torn. So a sprain can be a tear. They're kind of the same thing. So you probably had a grade 2. It's probably kind of settled in, scarred in with that collarbone.
Is it the calcified lidocaine that they shot into my shoulder during the Arkansas game?
Well, that would never happen. Of course.
Oh, that's right.
We talked about.
We would never.
Definitely didn't get 3 shots throughout the game.
Of course not. No, it's that's actually a common presentation with AC sprains where we're just if it is a little bit of a worse sprain, a little bit more of a higher grade sprain, you're going to see that bump there. But again, functionally long term, just like the collarbone, people do just fine with it.
Where were you at, Jake, during that game? In Varsity Blues, Billy Bob says, I swear to God, if that needle comes anywhere near him.
I was get a bigger needle to put in that.
Where were you trying to
fat
protect
ankle
me?
of his that he's probably got a brace on too.
Yeah. Jake was like, no, stick more needles in him.
I was out there toting the rock.
We're a true friend trying to protect me.
You were trying to come out of the tunnel like Shane Falco and get the crowd to go wild and be like, me, everybody, I'm back. Oh, there's no doubt.
I'm a big nameplate guy.
There's no doubt. I was out there just trying to, get a victory for our team.
Making out with cheerleaders over here.
We had a real want for a win,
We're just giving,
as Les would say.
We're just giving up speed out routes on 4th and 10. 5-step no hitch throw, first down on 4th and 10. Come on, Bo.
Casey Dick, quarterback.
Whatever.
Anyways, we still won. We're good. Doc, we appreciate it.
Always a
We
pleasure.
missed you last week, so glad to have you back in studio with us.
Heck yeah. And we're excited for training camp right around the corner.
Right around the corner. It's
I know
coming
you're
on quick.
excited because football season, but I gotta think that training camp's still a grind.
It's a grind, yeah, because we try to have a presence with, especially early on, because there's so much that can happen those first few practices between the heat and everything. So yeah, my schedule's a little bit more chaotic, really throughout football, but definitely during camp.
Heck yeah.
I got to go on a camp tour. It's going to be a 2 weeks. Doc, you might need to come in and co-host with Flynn.
Yeah, it's gonna be worse here, bud.
All right, Doc, we appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, we'll take a break. More OTB when we come back here live from the Raising Cane studio.
Off the bench.
All right, go to FABT.com. First American Bank and Trust, been in the game for over 100 years here in the greater Baton Rouge area, and they're going to be able to help you out. But the thing that kind of sets them apart is they're going to know your name, they're going to know your face, they're going to have a relationship with you. You're not just going to be an account number for them like you would be with some big national bank. And also, decisions are made right here locally. They don't call and ask for permission because they don't have to. So if you're looking for a new home, if you're looking for a business loan, they have got you covered. Go to the website today, FABT.com.
Yeah, they don't have to call New York City to get permission to give a loan to a business that's right here in Louisiana, because it's a Louisiana bank. For the last 100 years, they've been doing business with Louisiana companies, Louisiana families. So if you looking to start a new bank account, maybe get a commercial loan, maybe it's a mortgage, maybe it's a HELOC, whatever it is, make sure you're dealing with local people. First American Bank and Trust, local people, local decisions, real banking, FABT.com.
I'm saying my chick bad, my chick hood, my chick do stuff that your chick wish she could. My chick bad, badder than yours. My chick do stuff that I can't even put in words. Her swagger don't stop, her body won't quit. So full pipe down, you ain't talking about me. My chick bad, tell me if you seen her. She always bring the racket like Venus and Serena. All white top, all white belt.
2007 champs, purple and gold to the core. This is Off the Bench with Hester and Flynn, Baton Rouge's go-to for all things Louisiana sports.
Hey. Welcome back in, OTB. Always want to remind you about our friends over at Rouse's. Go to Rouse's.com today. Why are we giving you a website for a grocery store? That's kind of weird. It's not when we explain it, okay? You go to Rouse's.com, you put in your address, and it's going to pull up the weekly specials for your store, the one that is most convenient for you. Now, any Rouse's you go into is going to be convenient. We say it every day. Right now, they've got the breakfast bar already out. A little bit later on, they got the lunch bar, the salad bar, the sushi bar, the rotisserie chickens, the pre-made meals already ready to go. And you go in, you can grab one, and it is an incredible meal. But also, obviously, for your groceries, they've got so much local flavor at your local Rouse's. And, hey, I don't know if you're into perfect hydration, but you should be. And you're going to get perfect hydration because all of your local Rouse's are going to have My High in them as well. So go to Rouse's.com today. All right. One of the, for me at least, and I can't speak for the room, one of my favorite parts about having our guy Moose here with us is we get a chance to get a little update on like LSU baseball. And it is now, it's a sport certainly here that is almost year-round, but this is a key time for LSU baseball. They didn't have the season that anybody wanted a year ago. And over the last couple of days and weeks, they have added through the transfer portal. Now, we've done a quick hit on, hey, here's who they added. Here's what he did at his last stop. But I am not going to pretend to know LSU baseball more than our guy, Moose. So, Moose, you get a couple of players over the last couple of weeks, including a big bat from Oregon. I didn't get a chance, and typically, like on the way out, I get a chance to at least ask you some questions before we head out for the day. Didn't get a chance to do that. So, what is LSU getting in their latest portal edition?
Angelaya, yeah. I mean, they're getting first and foremost a freshman All-American this past season at Oregon. I mean, this is a guy, great size too, very projectable. He's like 6'2", 200 already. I mean, you hear all the time about freshmen bursting onto the scene. I mean, look at Derek Curriell, obviously in 2025, we go down the list at LSU. But if you look at Angel Aya, burst on the scene, kind of an understatement. In 10 of his first 12 college games ever, he had at least one hit. And he just kind of carried that over throughout the entire season. And look, I understand the Big Ten is not the best baseball conference in the world, but it's still Power 4 competition as a freshman. That's a guy who went and finished second on the team in homers as a freshman and second on the team in RBI as a freshman. So, I mean, you're getting a major bat, a guy who's going to come in and impact immediately, most likely play right field for LSU. But the thing I like most about him, guys, is, well, he's a freshman. He's got 2 years left. I mean, that's a guy you can get in and you can have him impact immediately, retain him, and have him in your program for 2 seasons, maybe even take a step up again in his draft year. It's just, it's an area that LSU, especially under Jay Johnson, has had a lot of success with multi-year transfers. I mean, think about Tommy White. You think about Riley Cooper. You think about Chris Stanfield, Michael Braswell even. I mean, those guys contributed on championship teams and were here multiple years. Retention doesn't always have to be your high school class. It can be multi-year transfers. And you've seen them add a handful of those in this group. Laya's just kind of the first position player. So, I mean, that's a guy who you expect probably take a little bit of a jump, maybe even in power again this year, and be a stalwart for you in the outfield for 2 seasons now.
Moose, I got you learn life's best lessons through failure, right? I tell my children that all the time. Like, take failure, make it a positive thing. What did you learn? What you just did? What did you learn? What did Jay learn this past year through the? I don't know if it's mistakes. Mistakes is the right word, but through not hitting in the portal going into this past year, what lessons do you think he learned?
I would say mistakes is the right word because that's the word he used. Okay. I mean, that's his own words. There was mistakes in roster building. Said that after during the A&M series. What'd they learn? For one, they learned they have to be a lot better on defense. I'll tell you that much, because everybody they've went out and got is a guy who contribute on both sides of the ball. You look at Dawson Park, who's going to play infield for you. Cade Curlin, obviously, is a fantastic defender. You retained Stephen Milam. I mean, I think they like what they've got defensively in the outfield. It's probably not to the scale that it could have been last year. I mean, you also didn't get to really see Stanfield, Curriell, and Brown play that much together, but that was 3 center fielders. So maybe you're not there to that scale, but you have definitely corrected the issues on the infield because that cost your pitchers last year. And you've also seen a much bigger emphasis on proven strike throwing here as well. And I would tell you, too, the majority of the guys they've gotten are Power 4 guys. When you look at the bats, you struggled offensively with your transfers a year ago. York, Dardar, Simpson, Caraway, like those guys didn't hold up their end of the bargain. So they went out and they got proven production. Like Bino Waters, I mean, it's the number 1 player in the portal. He's career 300 hitter at Notre Dame. Angel Aya, we just talked to, comes from Oregon, a really good program there. Cade Curlin, Florida. So, I mean, they went out and they got proven production at the college level and high major college level. They got better on defense. And when you look at the pitchers, they got guys who are going to come in and throw strikes. And, I mean, those are all the things that really hurt you a year ago, and they look like they've corrected all of them. But I would tell you defense is one thing that really stands out in this class on the infield.
So one of the things that we were talking about yesterday, Moose, was you don't really go out and get a frontline starter in the portal. Now, there's not a lot of those guys in the portal. This year was not heavy with starting pitching options. But it also, to me at least, and I'd love to get your opinion, it does feel like that is a sign pointing to Jay Johnson and the staff believing that Evans and Schmidt and like what they have, and obviously Coop coming back from injury, like they believe that 3 can really still be the 3 that they throw out there, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Yeah, that's exactly what it tells you. There's definitely some risk involved in that. I'd be lying if I told you I feel, perfectly okay and great about that. I think all of those guys can do it. Like, there's no doubt in my mind William Schmidt can be a great starting pitcher in the SEC. Case Evans can be a starting pitcher in the SEC. Cooper Moore as well. Like, those guys can absolutely do that. They are capable. They have the stuff. But what you saw this past year, and look, players are allowed to improve, and everybody improves at their own rate. Not everybody is Cade Anderson. hardly anybody is Cade Anderson when that happens like it did.
Yeah.
There was an unfair expectation to put on those guys. So they can absolutely take a step forward and be better than they were a year ago. Is it good enough for you to compete at the highest level and win a national title? We're only going to find that out when we watch the season. They have the stuff. I also think Landon Hood's going to get an opportunity to break into that rotation, especially now after Marco's Paz hit the portal. I mean, that is just
that was a shocker.
Oh, that's a brutal blow
That was a
for that
shocker.
team, man. But yeah, and he's going to be in the league too, and you're going to end up probably facing him before he leaves college, which stinks. But so especially after that, I do think you see Landon Hood get an opportunity to break into there, and he certainly could. And you love the stuff that he has. But yeah, I mean, there's risk, and that just running it back that doesn't it doesn't inspire a whole lot of confidence in me. I know they can do it. I believe they can, but it's just kind of one of those things now where it's like, all right, right, wrong, or indifferent. You kind of have to see it to believe it.
Well, in fairness, like Cade Anderson wasn't Cade Anderson until he was Cade
Right.
Anderson, right?
Yeah. And that's why it's like, that's just like, guys don't go from having a 27 ERA in the SEC to the number 3 overall pick in 1 year very often. Like that that doesn't happen. It can happen, but that's an unfair expectation to put on somebody.
I think the question deserves to be asked though. Do you think Jay missed? He swung at some pitchers and missed, or do you think there just wasn't enough talented SEC starting caliber pitchers that went into the portal?
And I'm sure there's a few misses in there. I mean, Brody Trosclair, obviously, they wanted Brody Trosclair. He ends up at Tennessee. That was their lefty that they really wanted. Now, would he have come in immediately and been a starter? Probably not, because I do think believe they are content with Evans, Schmidt, more like that. That's what they want as their rotation. Their actions have just shown you that. Like, there were starting pitching options in the portal that if LSU wanted to go out there and pay for and they believed could come in and make the difference, they could have done it. I mean, they've shown you that by getting Angel Aya, Bino Waters. Like, those aren't you beat the who's who in college baseball for that. You had to pay to do that. So I mean, it's just really their approach more than anything. I think to this is they really wanted to shore up the lineup and the defense, and they thought that would really help the pitching. Come along. This team reminds me a lot of the 23 team in the way that it looks like it's going to be constructed. It looks like they're going to score a bunch of runs. And you're probably going to give up some, but you're going to have a pretty good bullpen, and you should be able to win games that way, which you don't have as Paul Skeens, obviously, which was a massive part. So I don't want to omit that. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, you relied on your offense a lot that year and your defense behind your pitching. Yep.
Cade Anderson, right now in the minor leagues.
Call him up.
He's not doing very good.
He's 8-1 with a 1.36 ERA, 14 games started, 72 2/3. 108 strikeouts, 0.69 WHIP.
Is that good?
So it's not a fluke.
I mean, what are we doing?
Like,
That sounds pretty good.
It's professional baseball.
That is.
Like, I know it's not the major
Speaking
leagues,
of ludicrous,
but
that's ludicrous.
It's professional baseball.
Why is he still in Double A?
I know, because he's 22 probably?
I would imagine there's got to be some type of service time deal there is why they haven't called him up yet. But I mean,
because we're past May.
After the All-Star break here coming up, that would and I tell you what, the other interesting thing is the MLB draft is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I mean, just even more storyline there.
Definitely knew that.
I knew that.
I guess the Mariners are still in first place in the West. So
What
for
a
them, they're
ridiculous division.
For them, they're probably thinking okay, let's just continue. Let's see if we can hold on a little bit. It's a bad division.
So bad.
We hold on for a little bit, and then we'll make a splash. We'll call him up, and he'll be he might be he might be a playoff bullpen arm. We've seen that before. And that's your first introduction into the big leagues. So we'll see. But he definitely to say he deserves to be called up would be an understatement. All right, we'll step away. We'll take a break. We've got more OTB coming right back your way. Stay locked in here, live from the Raising Cane studio.
Off the bench.
All right, go to Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys at getgordon.com. McKerney, the injury
Gordy McKerney?
attorney,
Injury
as
attorney.
we like to say sometimes here. When you go to getgordon.com, remember, you can have a chat right there with a live agent on the website. You can see what Gordon and the G team can handle for you in the courtroom. Past client results, also right there on the website. Now, anywhere in Louisiana, doesn't matter where you're at. from Shreveport to Ruston down to DeRidder down to Cutoff over to Broussard. Does not matter. It is your area code, followed by 888-8888. Have that conversation today. Get your consultation set up, and you can do it again. All that information's at getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
G team. Be a part of the G team.
Okay.
I always like that.
Remix.
Not a big deal. If you've been injured, whether it's a car accident, on the job site, maybe you got a workers' comp claim, make sure you give the experts a call. Gordon McKernan. Injury attorneys are here to fight for you. Get what you deserve. GetGordon.com.
From the locker room to the airwaves, it's Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
All right, welcome back here Off the Bench, 8:42 a.m. Hour number 2. Flynn, Musso, Tay, Jake. Who knows what he's doing? Hey, at the break, we were talking. I want to bring it up here. Former Saints head coach Sean Payton is making headlines right now. I mean, he's not really doing anything. There's articles being written. Seth Wickersham wrote an article, and it talks about something I guess Sean Payton was talking about in jest, maybe. Maybe he suggested it. But for whatever reason, this article is coming out now, and we're just kind of reading it. And it's the weirdest thing. And I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's he makes a suggestion for, we could say one of the greatest head coaches of all time in the NFL, Bill Belichick, who is 14 wins shy of Don Shula's all-time record of, I think, 333 regular season wins as a head coach. Made the suggestion that Bill Belichick come and be the official, on paper, head coach for the Denver Broncos, while I guess Sean Payton sits in the shadows and actually runs the team and calls the plays, so he can get 15 wins to be the all-time leading, have the all-time leading wins as a in the regular season as a head coach. I read this and I'm like, what? Like, what is he talking about? For one, this is happening during a playoff run for the Broncos is when he's talking. Musso, you just said it before we came on.
It was last playoffs, yes.
Yeah, it was this past playoffs when he's like Seth Wickersham's just like hanging out with the team and following them or doing whatever. And Sean likes to talk. Like, I was with the Saints for a while. Like, he likes to talk and tell stories. Like, this story is such BS that like
yeah, he's lying.
Like,
Matt.
he is absolutely 100% just lying because of his, I'm assuming, like, ultimate respect for Bill Belichick, right? And maybe it was like one of these things they joked about. Maybe we should bring him just be the head coach here. Blah blah blah. Well, if you're a decent team, that's going to take 2 years to get 15 more wins.
Right. You're not going 15-2 your first year in Denver. That's not happening.
Right.
And it would have been Bo Nix's rookie year.
Yeah.
So
this was following the 2023 season.
Yes, with Russ.
This was his first year in Denver. And they just drafted Bo Nix, first round. You got a new quarterback.
A guy that fits his system, I think, perfectly.
Yeah.
And you're going to bring him in, let him be under a coach for 2 years, then you take back over. Also, like Musso mentioned it during break, it kind of cheapens the record. Like, Belichick's going to stand there on the sidelines. Peyton's still calling the plays. He's still running the offense. He's probably still running practice. Who the hell knows if Belichick's even going to practice at that point? Also, two huge egos in the room like that. Yeah, I heard this morning, and they said, I wonder how those two egos would work out. And my thought was, well, if Sean Payton's serious about this, then hell, I got a much bigger ego than Sean Payton because there ain't no damn way I'm stepping aside and letting somebody else coach the team for 2 years. It's not happening, and I don't think Payton's doing that either.
Yeah. Obviously, this would have been like a not a real position, but somebody's got to pay him. He's got to be like an employee to be able to do it. But it's also suggested in the article that, like, all right, this was just kind of Sean Payton thinking out loud, but it's still a very strange situation.
It's dumb.
Like, to even think that.
It doesn't make any sense.
She's just lying. I mean,
he is lying. He's not going to do that.
Yeah,
you think Sean Payton's going to relinquish control for 2 years, even though he's running things like I'm not?
No.
And I guarantee you, I don't have half the ego that Sean Payton does.
Yeah.
And if one of you, no offense to all of you, I like all of you, was like, hey, could I take over? You know, I would really like to come back and be like, man, you had a hell of a run. Let's not do that.
Yep.
Like let's not let that happen.
The only thing I can think of in his defense, he just went through a year with Russell Wilson as his quarterback. So maybe he was like, you know what? Until this thing plays out, you got it, Bill.
Who are we talking about?
You deal with it. Sean Payton lying to everybody.
About what?
Well, he said that he would let Bill Belichick come in and be the head coach so they can get 15 more wins so he could pass the all-time win record as a head coach.
This was going into 2024, so Nick's his rookie year. And I just think he's full of crap.
Stop lying to people.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Look, we all have egos to some extent. Now, some bigger than others. Sean's
got one.
Sean loves Sean. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
That would never happen. He would never let that happen.
Sean also likes Sean's stories.
That's also true.
Which are really good stories. I'd sit there and listen to it. Like, the guy's got a crazy memory. Like, telling stories about.
He's like Jimbo a little bit in that.
So much. Like, we would sit there Saturday night before games, just telling stories till like 11 p.m. I'm like, bro, I gotta go to bed. These are good stories. Like, and remember every little detail. And I'm like, golly, I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
I don't know if you saw the clip from the coaches meeting, like the NFL one. It was everybody sitting around the table. Peyton was standing up telling a story, and they were all watching. This was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, just holding court right there. I'm telling you, yeah, Sean likes a Sean story.
Yep.
And he's good at them. Maybe some embellishment going on. Like Bill Belichick being the head coach for your team.
It's not going to happen.
For 2 seasons.
Yeah. Bill's still the coach of North Carolina, by the way.
Wow.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Bill Belichick and Deion Sanders are college head coaches at the same time.
Yeah.
It's quite the world.
Yeah.
And neither are doing great.
No.
And on that note, we'll take a break. More OTB when we come back here live from the Raising Cane studio.
Off the bench.
All right, go to PelicanRoof.com, the website for Pelican Roofing, our friends in Lafayette, and also in Baton Rouge. That's right, they have locations in both cities. They're not driving back and forth on the basin. They are there, boots on the ground, in those local communities. Now, they always have things going on in the local community. The Run with Rufus they do every single year, the Mother's Day roof giveaway, the Veterans Day roof giveaway. They care about their community, but also they care about your roof, repair, replacement. First time a roof's ever going on, they are the go-to source. And that's not just us saying that. That is you saying that. Go to their website. You will see over 600 5-star reviews. Get that free consultation set up today at pelicanroof.com.
You said they're the go-to. I literally thought you were about to say they're the GOAT because they are the GOAT. When it comes to roofs, my gosh, Pelican Roof, they are the best. Offices in Lafayette, offices in Baton Rouge. They can do roof repair, roof replacements, whatever it is, brand new build. They are the best. Go to pelicanroof.com.
Tigers turn talkers. This is Off the Bench.
Hey,
Yo,
hey,
what's up?
Hey. All right, Luda.
Okay.
Well done, Moose. Well done. The fact that you were able to find some that are right toeing the line, but still safe to play.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Dude, Moose got more in the chamber for hour 3.
I think I do. I have a few more, and then we might have to get into like features.
Then we might have to get into look, Lovers and Friends with Usher.
Yeah.
Lil Jon, I believe. That's a banger.
I mean, yeah.
Those
with
three
Usher
did a
and
few
Lil
songs
Jon.
together.
He could do with Usher and
do
Lil
it.
Jon. I mean, he's in
I
that.
was saying, like,
Yeah.
those three guys did a handful of songs together, I feel like.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, like, hey, you haven't played some of his biggest hits, okay, like, area codes isn't really an option.
I don't think we're going to find
bet
a
we can
clean
find
enough.
something.
You want me to try? I'll try an hour 3.
How would they? How?
I don't know.
I'd be interested to hear the clean version.
I think I remember hearing it on radio.
I'll see if there's radio at it.
What's in different area codes?
Woes,
I got
His bros.
the woes, the bros.
it's probably something.
Okay. All right.
Maybe they got-
I got woes in different area codes.
Kanye says broke back to back,
Broke.
and
yeah.
they can think of something.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we can. I bet. I mean, he's a lyrical genius, so
Obviously.
he came up with something.
Okay.
It's Luda.
It's ludicrous. He does it every song. He'll be fine.
Or it's the she's a bro. Maybe it's like maybe it just doesn't say anything.
I don't
she's
anytime you pause like you, I don't like it. It makes me nervous, and I'm going to move on from it. Coming up in hour number 3, we will talk a little Saints. We'll talk a little LSU.
The Saints are in the news?
There is a running back list that Tay put in the document. I've already talked about that, and I can't wait to play a little game with everybody else in the room when it comes to NFL running backs. Taylor, I hope you haven't looked at it. You probably have, but it doesn't matter. I know Moose and Flynn haven't, so we'll play that game as well. Stay locked in. We've got much more OTB coming right back your way. Right here live
It's gonna be good. Hour 3. Can't wait.
from the Raising Cane's studio.
Off the bench.
Hey, what name were we talking about earlier in the show that was like kind of cool and
Probably
like
one of the coolest names.
if you have it, like
of
it's
all
hard
time.
to not be cool.
Yo, Tommy.
That's right. Go Tommies, Geaux, Tommies with a Y.com, GoTommies.com, where you will clearly see the difference. Now, we know what they can do in windows, doors, and siding. They are the absolute best. That's not, again, just us saying that. That is the advocate this year. Best windows, that went to Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding. But also, like, they do things like gutters. They can install gutters at your home. That's another list of services on the website that they have. So go check that out. GoTommies.com.
So when you win an award every year since 2016, is that like for being the best? Does that mean you're the best?
Yes.
You're pretty consistent. It's just not like a one-off there. They are winning the best every single year. Windows, doors, siding, you name it. If you have a project, we get it. You're probably going to talk to a couple different companies, see how you mesh with them, get pricing, all that stuff. Do yourself a favor. Make sure you call Tommy's, talk about your project. Go to GoTommies.com.